Are you ready to make your law firm a profit-generating machine that will free up your time and skyrocket your impact? With more than 2 decades of business growth experience and having proven that you can be successful while prioritizing your family and your impact, introducing the Profit with Law podcast. I am your host, the creator of the firm differentiator 10X Effect, Moshe Amsel. Hello and welcome to the Profit with Law podcast. I'm your host, Moshe Amsel, and today this is a bonus episode with an excerpt from our Law Firm Growth Summit. Our summit is coming up. Our 2022 event is coming up December 5th to the 7th, and we want you there. The Law Firm Growth Summit, if you're not familiar with it, is an event that is absolutely free to attend. It's run virtually. We do a really good job with virtual events. It's not your typical Zoom webinar. It is a conference platform where you can come and meet other attorneys and other people who are on at the same level as you and collaborate with them. We give you an opportunity to network. We give you an opportunity to connect with them. We also bring in some amazing vendors, and we have a vendor booth area where you can get access to questions that you might have for them on what their product has to offer, special deals that they might offer that is not available anywhere else, and you're getting that exclusively at the Law Firm Growth Summit. Now, the real meat and potatoes of the event is the topics, the sessions, and what we did this year is we broke up the tracking of those sessions into your specific law firm size. So we have the startup category, which is 0 to 250K in revenue. We have the expansion category, 250K to 2 million, and we have the legacy creator category, which is 2 million and above. And those are just guidelines, but we really tried to gear the topics to our variation of audience. We want everybody in, to be able to attend and get value. So we don't want you to feel like, oh, this is beneath me, or this is too advanced for me. We want you to have the right information for you. Now, we have over 30 leaders and experts and influencers in the industry that are going to be gracing our stage. So you want to make sure that you don't miss it. You want to go to lawfirmgrowthsummit.com/podcast, lawfirmgrowthsummit.com/podcast, and join us at the 2022 Law Firm Growth Summit. There's other exciting things going on. We're going to have some game shows, some prizes, and other opportunities for you to really enjoy the event and get the most out of it possible. On top of that, we have 2 amazing keynote sessions. We have Mike Morse, renowned book author of Profit First and Clockwork and Pumpkin Plan and Fix This Next and Toilet Paper Entrepreneur. He actually spoke last year at the 2021 event on Profit First. This year he is not talking on Profit First, but everybody loved his talk so much that I had to have him come back. And he's going to be doing a talk on creating a business that can run without you, based on the content of his book Clockwork. It's going to be a great talk. You want to make sure that that you're there. And then we have Jennifer Cuthbert, and Jennifer is a rock star law firm owner out of Atlanta. She's owns the Atlanta personal injury firm, and she is one of only 10 women-owned business to make the Inc. 5000 list this year, which is huge. Rapidly growing firm, and she's going to be talking about how to stake your claim, right? Take what's yours, own the right to be successful, and how to do it while balancing your personal life in the process. She's a mom. She's got young kids. How does she do it all with all of that other stuff going on without sacrificing those pieces? And I'm excited to have her joining us as a keynote speaker as well. So some really amazing stuff going on at the Law Firm Growth Summit. Remember, registration is absolutely free. All you got to do is go to lawfirmgrowthsummit.com/podcast and register and sign up. So the link to that is in the description of this episode. You don't have to go far. Just go in your podcast player, click that link, and go in and put in your information and make sure that you register for the event so you can join us at the 2022 Law Firm Growth Summit.
So we'll talk about how to expand the Facebook audience. And if it's just you and me, Jennifer, is Will Harnish still there? You and I could hop on a Zoom call or hop on a Facebook call. But we started advertising in 2011, the year that I was fired from the biggest advertiser in town, sending me cases. So I had to reinvent myself. And what happened was in 2011, I looked across all the platforms. This is before really Facebook and everything, but it was a crowded market, and I didn't have all the money. They were spending $10 million, $8 million a firm, and I didn't have that money. So I literally looked in the mirror and I said, how am I going to get this audience? How am I going to get the attention of these people who I need to call me so I can continue my firm? We had about 30, 35 people at the time. And I outlined it in this chapter, but basically is what we did is we were looking for a new type of lawyer ad, a new flavor, something memorable like Cherry Garcia. And I just couldn't stomach the idea of doing the same old thing, the herd mentality. People are looking at other people's Facebook stuff and says, oh, I'm going to copy that because I'm sure it's working. And I look at other people to an extent as well. I look and see what they're doing, and either it resonates and say, oh, I like that idea. I'm going to take it, twist it, do it a little bit better in my practice. And I've done that on a lot of things. But most of the stuff I see out there are just these generic posts. And, to build your Facebook audience, you need to engage the audience, whether it be by contests, whether it be by asking good questions. You should go through my Facebook page and like it and be our friend and see the good stuff that we do. The ads that work the best are stuff personal about me, my family, my dog, my kids, wearing new swag. People go crazy. You'll see 300-400 likes. We run contests. We give away things. If you do this, if you like us, if you share, if you tag, we'll give you this. We'll do this for you. And it works. And people like contests. People like those kind of things, but they also like content. So when I go to somebody's house and surprise them on a birthday something with prizes and gifts, it gets a lot of views. It gets a lot of likes. It gets shared a lot. Most lawyers aren't doing those kind of things. So it's working for my firm when it was small, and we've obviously scaled to kind of a crazy level. And Will's asking, he's starting firms that do zero with marketing, and now currently starting a small firm with marketing as a target. If you want to scale, you have to market. I mean, there's no choice. And my comments are that you just got to do it differently. I'm looking for this in my book because I think I have a graph in here. We take what our competitors are doing, we put a piece of paper and we say they are acting in these ads. We think they're greedy. Well, we give back. They are serious. Well, we're funny. And we do those type of things, and we kind of adopt my personality and come up with great, fun, funny content. If you go to my YouTube channel, Mike Morse Law Firm on YouTube, you'll see our commercials. You'll see my podcast, Open Mic. Will and Jennifer, those are free things to do. You can start a podcast. It's free, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And my advice on the podcast is to keep it up. I was told like 80% of the podcasts out there haven't put out an episode in over a year. I'm coming up on my 100th episode on April 13th. So they say after 100, your traffic goes up. Jennifer's got a podcast. That is great. And you're creating content for marketing materials, which is great. I did my podcast myself. Actually, I'm sorry. I have an IT person in my office, and I ended up hiring a videographer full time because I had other stuff. I wanted legal bios for all my website. What's the name of your podcast, Jennifer? And it kind of took off from there. We have 18,000 followers, I had a couple big names on. You guys remember who Chris Hansen is or was? He was on NBC. He came on the show a few times, and my following kind of went up from that. You need to get some big names on there, people who are willing to share the podcast, people who are willing to help get their audience to listen to your audience. Jennifer, you should check out Elise Bowie's podcast. Maybe the two of you could go on each other's podcast and share insights. Tell her I sent you. She's a really, really good person. Really motivational, really top notch. But she's got a following, and she's doing well with that. So the listeners on the podcast, that's a very good question, because I don't know if I've gotten a single case for my podcast, but it's keeping me relevant. It's giving me content. I'm meeting people. I'm learning about new areas of law. There's a lot of criminal stuff that we talk about, and I'm not a criminal attorney yet. We took on a criminal case because of the podcast, which I'll turn into more content and more podcasts one day. So you just never know where it's going to go, right? I'm just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks, what I like, what I'm good at. But you guys should watch my podcast, an episode or two, and see if it's meaningful to you in any way. Check it out and comment. Let me know. If you want my help brainstorming, I'm happy to. Jennifer's talking about issues that are relevant to the family life, interviewing other collaborative attorneys. Are you getting followers? Are you getting feedback? Are people listening? Are you working on getting reviews? The Jennifer Hargrave show doesn't really tell me what it does. Either does open mic. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I like your name. But you need to self-promote the hell out of it. You need to be giving us links here so we could watch it. You need to be sending us invitations. I mean, you need to be wearing swag with your stuff on it and getting on every podcast and every webinar you can, and maybe consider writing a book. We didn't know if this was going to sell. We've sold, 5,000-6,000 books already. It's absolutely insane. But this is getting me on lots of shows, which is promoting lots of stuff. And that will, help propel you. And while you're talking about, low budgets and I don't know if you heard the last session we just did on the main stage talking about, people without a lot of budget, but it's spending the time guerrilla marketing with lots and lots of people and wherever you have interest. If you're a writer, you should be, writing and working up your website and getting the search down, and getting your back of the house. That's what this book is about. It's about getting your office ready for the major deluge of cases that is going to come if you're successful, when you're successful. And so that's kind of what we preach to the smaller firms that we deal with, is to just get their stuff ready, get a marketing plan. Hopefully you have some budget in place. Yes, Jennifer, creating the office to handle the work is so important. So usually it's the opposite. People get busy, get cases, and then they try to figure out how to run an office, and it doesn't work. So when you guys are smaller, now is the time to do it. I did it when I had about 30 employees, which was probably too big. I should have started earlier. But we figured it out. We got a good coach in place, and we're actually the Fireproof brand is starting a monthly, less expensive coaching service where we're going to do Zoom calls couple times a month with me and my co-author, John Nakhazel, my implementer. If you guys are interested in that, go to fireproofperformance.com, sign up to our newsletter so we can capture your email address, and you'll get mailers when that starts. It's going to start in about 60 days, and we have hundreds of law firms lining up to just be part of the energy. It's not going to be an expensive monthly thing. It's I don't know, maybe $1,500 a month or something like that to get all the tools, to network with other attorneys, to learn how to run a really good office, talk about marketing and advertising and search and podcasting and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're excited to to do that, to scale the coaching. We have 15, 16 clients right now, and it's getting to be a lot. So the demand is there to scale it. And, we are in the planning stages of that right now. So Jennifer, I appreciate your sharing your links. I'm going to go check these things out and subscribe. Will, do you have any other questions that I can be more specific with you on? Listeners to my podcast, it's anybody, it's Detroiters, it's lawyers, it's people who care about, criminal justice in this country. That's where the slant of the podcast went, is criminal reform and criminal justice. Not as much personal injury, shockingly, which is what I do for a living. So it's really just a talk show. Tomorrow I'm interviewing a guy who's an online predator catcher. I have a booking guy who helps me find some interesting guests, and the guy that I'm interviewing is a massive, multi-hundred thousand person viewership. So we're having them come on. So hopefully some of their viewers will follow us. You see how that works. It's a back and forth. And what are your thoughts on print marketing, bar journals, newspapers, business magazines? If you're going for lawyers to refer you cases, it's a must. Absolutely. I like, we talked about this one in my podcast. Find your favorite business book, buy 100 of them, get them for a bulk discount. I think they're, $5, $6, $7, $8 a book. Send them with a handwritten note and say, I thought you'd enjoy this book. Build a relationship, take them to lunch, and lawyers will send you cases left and right. Nobody is doing that. Yes, when people come to my firm, they expect me as their lawyer, but they're explained quickly that I'm not going to be their lawyer. I have 40 other lawyers that are going to handle their cases. I am going to oversee everything. I oversee the firm, but I'm not going to be their personal lawyer. How do I prepare my clients for working with my team? I've been training them for 28 years, and my team meets them and handles the case exactly how I would have handled the case back in the day when I was handling more cases, and they are fine with that. Absolutely fine with that. I'm practicing law this much, and I'm primarily running a business with 150 employees. We settle $150 million worth of cases every year. It's kind of a big kind of monster. So you can't do both. You can't run and be a visionary of a law firm my size and have a full caseload. Impossible. The lawyers who do that are not successful. I mean, it's impossible. And that changed for me probably 10 years ago when I started going on TV and the marketing, the advertising took up. I talk to clients every day. I'm mentoring my client, my staff every day. I'm in meetings every day. But I'm just not doing depositions and running to court and sitting around with the judges making me wait for 3 hours. My time got too valuable for that. So I hired really good lawyers who could do it better than me and haven't missed a beat. My clients it's called delegating, right? I've delegated my workload and I've elevated myself to do other things. And that's kind of our mantra. And that works for me.
That's it for this week's episode of Profit with Law. If you have enjoyed the show, please consider sharing it with at least one person. Imagine how many lives we can change if we each shared this episode. Another way to share the episode is on social media. We appreciate your support and look forward to you joining us again next week.